are you? Well, I don't know if you can see my background, but I'm not in Belize right now. I am in Tampa, Florida, visiting my best friend, and guess what? It's kind of chilly. I got a sweatshirt on. I'm sitting outside. Maybe you can hear the birds. And there's a lake in front of me, but I can't really show it to you. And in a minute, my sunglasses are going on because the sun's starting to come out. It just got through raining, and now the sun's coming out. Anyway, hi. Okay, so what do we want to talk about today? I've been giving you mindful tips on Mondays because it's Mindful Monday. And today I want to talk a little bit about the new class that I'm going to be offering March 29th at noon. And it's all about using, I don't know exactly how to explain it, but I want to help you really connect to your body because one of the things that I talk a lot about is what goes on through your mind when you sit down to eat. So some of the things could be that, you're feeling really emotional and you're angry or you're sad or whatever, and you're using food as a way to comfort yourself. Now, we've talked a lot about that, and I can help you a lot in the program that I'm offering of how to really check in with your emotions in terms of if you're emotional eating or eating because you're really physically hungry. And of course, that's the physical hunger scale and the emotional hunger scale, and I talk all about that. And if you haven't heard my podcast, all about that too on my website. It's all over the place. But once you really start connecting into what your true physical hunger is, like when you're eating and you sit down to eat and you say to yourself, how hungry am I? And when you finish, how full am I? And we like to go on a scale from a -2 to a +2. That's you start eating at a -2. You could go all the way to a -10, but you start at a -2, which is just a whisper of hunger, and then you stop at a +2, which is just a whisper of fullness. Now, the other tools that I've taught you over the weeks in podcasts, all about being kind to yourself. In my new program, I am really going to help you learn self-compassion and how to be kind to yourself and not punish yourself, but at the same time, you've got to take good care of yourself. Like you're not taking good care of yourself if you eat way beyond your hunger. That's not taking good care of yourself. It's not like, well, I'm giving myself a hall pass and I'm being kind to myself to put a lot of junk in my food and eat to a +10. That's not being kind to yourself, even if you're not screaming at yourself, right? And you really have to know the difference. And as we start working with all of these tools, what I'm really going to concentrate on in this new class that I'm offering is how food affects all of these things. So when you eat certain foods, they make your mind think crazy thoughts sometimes. Like I'm saying, like you could have a lot of thoughts running around in your head. Some of them are really positive, like you really want to treat yourself right. You want to eat the best fuel food possible, and it's really easy to do it. Other times it's like there's all this food around and there's all these thoughts around, and the thought says to you, you know what, I want you to eat something, no nutritional value to it, and I just want you to eat until you feel good. Good, meaning so you don't feel your emotions anymore. That's what I don't want you to do anymore. And when you choose specific foods, sometimes they get in the way of being able to choose the best kind of thinking. Now, this might sound crazy to you, but this is really what I concentrate on in this program, is that if you choose foods like flour and sugar a lot, the more you eat it, the more you want it, and I know you all know that. But do you also know that the more that you eat it, hi Diane, do you know that the more that you eat it, the more that you want it? And sometimes what happens, like I have a lot of clients that come in and say to me, I just can't control myself. And we really have to deal with that thought of not being, thank you Diane, of not being able to control yourself. So first you have to know that you are in control of food. But once you know that, the second step, which is what this program is about, that if you choose certain foods, they have the ability to become an addictive factor to your brain. They can set off a bliss point in your brain. They're called bliss points by scientists. that if you eat certain foods, it's going to hit a point in your head like cocaine does. Seriously. I mean, like cocaine. Can you believe that? So, in the program that we're going to do, we're going to very gently and in a very scientifically way, we're going to really monitor taking those foods out and then charting through a specific chart that I have to see how it affects how you think about yourself, how you think about food, and how you think about your life. Now, we're going to chart it and we're going to see. And you may think I'm crazy, but I'm telling you, if we take these foods out for a while, you will see an enormous difference in your own thinking. Seriously. Number one, you take the food out long enough, you don't want it anymore. That's the first thing. The second thing is that when you take certain foods out that are addictive to your brain, you start thinking in a way that is so much more powerful. So sometimes people say, well, why can't I just choose a thought? You know, like do a thought that's much easier for me, that would be more powerful for me. Why is it so hard for me? What I want to say is sometimes it's hard for you because the foods that you're choosing to eat on a regular basis are playing with your brain and your thinking. And so as mindful as you are, we're going to use that mindfulness so that you can see that when you take those foods out, it makes a huge difference in how you think. Amazing. So I really want you to check out the program. It's at drdebbutler.com/start. If I've worked with you before, this is a wonderful phase to go into next. If I've never worked with you before, it's a wonderful way not only to use mindfulness, but also to really learn about your body. If you've never really paid attention to how food affects your body and you've just gone on diets and you've lost weight and then you gain the weight and you lost the weight, and the only thing that you really know for sure is how you can lose weight and how you can gain weight. This program, that's not what we're going to do. We are going to find out how food affects you, and not only if it helps you lose weight more, but how it helps your blood pressure, how it helps blood sugar issues, how it helps your moods, how it affects your energy. If I could tell you that if you just change certain foods that you ate, and your energy would go up, and you would have a better mood, and that you could choose thoughts that would work for you, that you could believe so much easier. If I told you that it could change the way that you work, if I told you that it could change the relationship that you're in, would you want to do it? I mean, how could you say no to that? I know. By food? I'm telling you, food is like medicine. Food is not your enjoyment. Food is not your comfort. And food is not your best friend. I'm with my best friend right now. She's my best friend. What we eat is not my best friend. That's what I want you to get. It's not your best friend. Your best friend is a person. Best friend is not food. But I want you to see what happens and how food affects you and how you can mindfully choose food to help you change things in your life. It's amazing. Check it out. Guys, it was so good talking to you. And I'm going to talk to you next week. I'll be back in Belize. Bye-bye.